you're always going to want the longer end of the stick.
Yeah, we all want the longer end of the stick. That's
when it's a trade. When it's about love, you wouldn't care.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Renee here and welcome back to the Feminine Woman channel. So today we have a new video on the topic of, is it in a woman's nature to be a gold digger?
Good question.
And my husband, David Shen, is here with me to answer that question. So is it in a woman's nature?
How did we get onto this topic? I think that the general movement in the last few years of women leveling up and, in essence, extract more financial resources from men. Would you agree?
Yeah, and then when you pull them up on it, they're saying, oh, it's not just about money. But then they've just left 3 comments in my Facebook group saying, I expect a man to provide for me 100%. And I think that there is quite a big movement right now of women justifying and accepting the part of themselves that wants money and wants to gold dig. And I think it's reciprocating or maybe it's more of a response to the men who feel like it's okay to date multiple women and spread their seed and have that behavior and not get any repercussions for it, apparently. If it's okay for men to do that, then why shouldn't it be okay for women to take money?
Yeah.
I did want to say one thing though, don't ever think that men don't experience any repercussions for that kind of behavior. Okay?
Absolutely.
Just because we feel like exercising our rights, just because we want our power back, it doesn't mean that men aren't going through anything or aren't being scolded or abused by women because of their behavior about running around having sex with multiple women or just being non-committal, anything like that. But yeah, so we've noticed in our Facebook group, and it's been quite overwhelming for us, that women are getting ideas from somewhere about
it's been
being
very
a gold
popular.
digger, and it's very popular.
And that it's okay to gold dig, which, by the way, fine. If you want to do that, that's completely okay. It's not, I'm not here to shame you for it. And
we'll start by saying, actually, let's admit, first of all, yes, it's true. There's a part of every woman that wants to gold dig.
Yeah.
That is one
let's
level
appreciate that.
of truth.
Let's appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, because women need resources.
Yeah.
When you're heavily pregnant and you can't get out of bed and you need food because you're starving to grow this baby, someone needs to be there to...
It's good to be able to order from Uber on your phone without getting out of bed.
Yeah, well, historically, someone needs to be there to look after you and the baby. So it's okay. You shouldn't make it wrong. You shouldn't make it wrong, but you at the same time, you can swing the pendulum and go the other side and go, oh... I'm a woman, because I have a vagina, I deserve all the money in the world. Well, that's not true either.
I'm the prize.
Yeah, exactly. So
the point,
the equivalent here, so if we were to accept that it's one level of truth that it is a part of women's nature to gold dig, then we must also accept the equal and opposite, which is there's a part of a man's nature to sleep with everything that he sees.
Including trees.
Well,
yeah. Oh, actually, there's a video of it.
Yeah, there's a video of a tribe in somewhere in South America where the men growing up learn their skills by having intercourse with donkeys. It was a Vice documentary. Anyhow, off topic here. So we need to accept equally that that's a part of men as well and appreciate that.
And I think these women do. I think they're saying, I'm willing to accept that part of a man.
And I can understand.
Well. However,
I can understand that for a lot of women, love is not a tangible thing. It's not a reality. But what you can hold on to is cash. Cash is stable.
Yeah.
Cash will buy you food. Love, you can't trust it as much.
What is that when the last man you loved left you?
Yeah, exactly.
What is love when the last man you fell in love with cheated on you?
And
does love even exist? A lot of women would be asking themselves.
In some cultures, that's a big thing. You don't trust love. I can completely understand that.
Of course.
So then everything becomes about money and transactions. and trade. So when you look at life from that perspective, which isn't wrong, it's just one level of truth. If you look at life, women just want money and men just want sex, which is a very, very basic, very basic level of truth, then the best you can hope for in life is to do a good trade. The best you can hope for is to do a good trade.
Yeah.
If you make a good trade, you get a little bit more money and you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Yeah.
But love is going to be out of the realms of possibility.
Absolutely. I know that.
Trust is going to be outside of that realm.
Of course, trust won't be there.
And there won't be love, there won't be trust. So all there is going to be is a good transaction. And that good transaction may work out for a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with a good transaction. But as you said, it's not going to make you feel infinite.
Yes, that's what I was saying to David earlier.
It's always going to be like this tug of war.
Yeah.
And
I think unless you're willing to have the courage to believe in something beyond just money, you're never going to have infinity in your life, ever. You'll just have transactions. And what I mean by infinity is money is one resource, but the infinity of resourcefulness and the resources that can come from that infinity, including money, that only happens when you have a romantic bond with a man, you're in love with each other, and you create a life together.
Emotionally invested.
Create a story together, and you're and you are both emotionally invested in each other. But to get there, it is not easy for a lot of people. You
can't lead with digging for resources, because ultimately that's a value-taking trait.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Value-taking, a set of beliefs.
Yeah.
So and just same as men who go into every interaction looking for sex, that's an entirely value-taking kind of thing. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not going to get you very far in terms of love.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you want infinite resources, you can't go down that path.
Yeah.
I understand. If you don't trust love, then why should you? And, who am I to tell you what to do?
Of course.
You have to make your own decisions here.
But there's one thing that is for sure, and that is that the people who are telling you that you can have money and love... Hang on, let me make sure I word this right.
Yeah.
The people who are telling you that you can... they're actually telling you can have money and love. So we'll go with that. The people telling you that you can have money and love are right. I have enough money for my own satisfaction, and I have love. But that's not because I searched for resources. You have to lead with love. You have to lead with love.
That's right.
You can't go into it saying...
It's not a transaction here.
I believe he's the man, he needs to 100% provide, and then expect to find love. It does not work that way, because you didn't show up that way, and you didn't lead with love.
Exactly. It's never a transaction here.
Yes.
We never count,
as I said,
how much we give versus how much we take. It doesn't work that way. It's a different paradigm. It's a different set of rules.
It's about taking responsibility for a relationship, for how someone feels outside of yourself. It's about taking responsibility for attuning yourself to where the other person is at. Taking responsibility for understanding men, for feeling what they have to go through. Even if it seems like they're assholes on the surface. That's your responsibility as a woman. Not just to a man, but to yourself. To yourself. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're old and lonely, can you imagine being old and lonely for a moment? How good is that going to feel?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've done a video on this, women who date for resources versus women who date for love. And I've said before, you can't date for resources and date for love. You can't. You have to date for one. You can't date for resources and expect a man to just fall in love with you, because you're there to extract. You're there with rules. And those rules, even if you claim, I'm not expecting him to pay for everything from day one, no, you are, because your rule is that the man provides. The man should provide. And while I don't necessarily disagree, my man completely provides for me. If I come into it saying, you should provide because you're the man, how does that feel for him to provide for me? How does it feel?
It's no longer a pleasurable experience.
That's right.
It's an obligation.
Pressure.
It's an obligation. So you take away this beautiful, generous, charitable act of giving, and you made it into this tax.
Yeah.
And I mean, who loves to pay tax? So
Exactly.
So you completely change the meaning of those resources that the man provides. So at the end of the day, it becomes a trade, a sugar babe, sugar daddy trade. You know, it's still a trade.
Yeah.
So
Just don't maybe expect to date 70-plus-year-old men.
Yeah, maybe hopefully die soon so you can inherit it. Again, there's nothing wrong with wanting resources.
No.
That's okay. But understand that if you're going in to take, it's not going to get you very, very far.
And putting shoulds on other people is a taking action.
And look, for most wealthy men, especially the ones who made their own wealth, they're smart.
Yeah.
They've been around the world. They know what the world is like.
Yeah.
It's different for the ones that may not have had to make it themselves. But for the ones who are smart and resourceful and wealthy men, they are not going to trust you.
No.
You're not going to build that relationship with them, that sense of mutual understanding and respect and that emotional investment.
Yeah.
If you're going, if you don't lead with that, the want for love.
Yeah, that purity.
Yeah.
They will look for a pure woman.
They will test you.
And what I mean by pure
in your
is
favor.
someone who has love in her eyes and love in her soul and who truly believes in love.
Yeah. And the best case scenario then will be that you find someone with money, they'll shower you with money for a while until you get boring and they move on to someone else.
Yeah.
And if you want to live that kind of life, it's okay. Who am I to judge?
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
at the end of the day, that's not what makes the world go around.
Yeah.
If our
We wouldn't be
ancestors,
here.
we wouldn't be here if our ancestors indulged in that kind of behavior. And look, at the end of the day, you're entitled to whatever choice you make. You just have to be responsible for the consequences.
Yeah, and don't be silly about it. Don't just say, oh, it's man's job to 100% financially provide for me and not expect him to feel a bit apprehensive about you in some way. Because, look, your rules are your rules. They're not his. Imagine if he came up and said, well, you're a lady, so because you're a lady, I expect you to provide sex for me every second day at a bare minimum.
And all these things, and have meals cooked, and whatever rules that...
Suddenly that puts pressure on you. It's an expectation. It doesn't feel good.
Exactly.
It's as opposed to, say, if he instead said, how can I show up in a way that creates desire, sexual desire within this woman, that she will want to commune with me? How can I create a connection with this woman so that she will feel safe with me? What does she need? Which one feels better to you as a woman? Which one adds value and which one takes value?
Exactly.
So let's not talk about level up your expectations, ladies, because no, leveling up your expectations should start with you.
It's funny because there's so many of these coaches popping up now. And, granted, they have a big following, except I don't think women know where this is leading them to. I think what would happen if, just imagine this for a second, what would happen if, let's say, 1 million women tomorrow just went out there trying to extract value from the men of the world?
Imagine
very quickly, men are going to wise up. Men aren't going to be stupid, just lose, just to let their hard-earned resources just be stolen and looted.
And you'll have a bunch of resentful men out there who are very ready to pounce on you for any particular reason, especially so if you expect the money.
And then it just becomes a game. It just becomes this game playing. It's a trade.
It's empty.
The best you're going to get to is a trade. Most of it is going to become just playing games.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with games, but if you want to play that kind of, have that kind of lifestyle for the rest of your life, go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get you to that infinite place.
Yeah. And look, we have enough money for us to provide us with the lifestyle that we want to have. But at the end of the day, the real resourcefulness for me, if I'm ever going through something, comes from our bond and how we've evolved to serve each other. It doesn't come from our money.
Look, guys, we have been to the best hotels in the world. We took our 2 kids, flew first class, where was it, from Dubai to Munich or whatever. We had the whole first class suite to ourselves. It was nice.
And we were late, that was embarrassing.
We almost missed the flight.
Yeah.
And those things are wonderful, but I don't miss it. I really don't miss it.
Absolutely not.
It was a novel experience, and I can say we did it. I can say that it was enjoyable. But at the end of the day, like, would I want to have it again? I will not go out of my way to have it again.
Yeah. In fact, I'm very happy to sit in economy now for some strange reason. I don't know why. I just don't know why. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And actually, we were on what airline were we on? Etihad.
That flight.
Etihad. Yeah.
That flight was Emirates.
Oh, Emirates. Okay. And service was great and everything, but I kind of want that experience of being in the economy section with my family. I do. I want to experience things how everyone else experiences them. I don't see anything wrong with that. Sure, I'll be squished. Sure, I won't sleep all night, maybe, but it's an experience.
Exactly. It's these experiences that fill us up and make us whole.
Yes.
Not the status. Like, no, we didn't take 300 photos just because we were in first class. We're the only ones in first class. No. It's just for that novel experience. Now we can say we did it, and
we find out for ourselves what it's really like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope you find out for yourselves that the answers are not going to be there.
Yeah.
In first class.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's great. It makes other people envious for 10 seconds on social media. But after that, you have to live with your own life. You have to live with the decisions that you make along the way.
Yeah, you have to live with the fact that if you've sold your soul for something you thought would be the answer, then you're the only one who really has to shoulder that.
Exactly.
So if you want resources and money, okay, all the power to you. You make that choice, and maybe that's a part of your journey. Maybe that's what you need to go through. We're not here to tell you what to do, but if inside your soul is grieving and you're hurting and you're just angry and resentful and sad because you once believed in love and you don't anymore because something terrible happened, then go through that first. Don't come out and say, well, now because I've been so burned by these men, now it's my turn to extract and for them to meet me where I'm at. Don't give up on love just because you can't grieve.
Yeah. I would leave with one other comment or suggestion, and that is, if you want to have resources in your life, if you want to attract resources into your life, the best thing, the most self-serving thing that you can do is to be resourceful as a woman. Being resourceful as a woman, you are going to attract more resourceful men.
Yeah.
More fearless men who are more generous, men who are more able to get out of themselves as well. That's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, and if that's what you want, let's not say level up my expectations of other men, of other people, or of men, but instead, how can I show up that when that man comes along, I am the right woman for him?
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to end up old, alone, and resentful.
Yeah.
So we don't want that now, do we?
No. And we're not saying go for someone who you don't connect with, or someone who
the more resourceful you become, the more resourceful you are going to inspire even the man in your life.
Absolutely. Actually, Robert Influence. Can you who wrote it?
Cialdini.
Yeah, Robert Cialdini wrote a beautiful book, very long, dense book called Influence. Was it called Influence? That's the title. I've got it upstairs, but it's very old. And he said that when you give to someone, this is how you influence people. When you give to someone, they're not only motivated to give back to you, but they want to give more. They feel like they want to give more back to you. And I feel it in my own life, even if it's not paying for lunch or dinner. If I give to someone in an emotional manner, they feel it, they know, and they may not reciprocate immediately, but they'll remember it and they'll associate with it, and they'll know that by being with you, they can't do anything less. They'll eliminate themselves if they're not ready to give back and to meet your resourcefulness. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
They will eliminate
It's playing by a different paradigm, different set of rules.
Yeah.
We're not trading here. We're not trading at all. And if you're going to pre-frame any interactions as trade, That's all it's ever going to be.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Just be prepared for that.
That's always going to be, that's always going to feel like, you're always going to want the longer end of the stick.
Yeah, we all want the longer end of the stick. That's...
When it's a trade. When it's about love,
Yeah.
you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
And the other person wouldn't care either.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. I hope you make the right decision. And any comments? Leave them down below. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. I think we droned on for long enough.
All right. Peace.
See you later. Bye.